Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today I'm going to talk about week 2 of the 2023 Spring Stage Qualifiers match. There has been some bit of surprises, some not so surprises, and a team which is struggling a lot. But either way, obviously first of all, I just want to obviously say thank you for the massive support lately. Obviously my last Valorant video that blown up, so I appreciate you all, and obviously for the new viewers, welcome. I hope you enjoying my content. Let's also have a look at the next week's matches. Obviously, matches that might be good. Dallas and Dragons, that might be a good match to watch. I think actually both of them, Dynasty and Spark, that might be also really, really good. The West, Houston versus the Rain, that might be a good match. For the East again, I mean, it can maybe say like the classic Dallas Fuel versus Seoul Dynasty battle. It was the Lunatic High versus Team Envy. Obviously back in like very long time Overwatch, 2019. It's like 2017, 2016. It's a very, very long rivalry there. The Justice versus the Shock, that might be a pretty decent match. East, May 14th on the East. I'm not too sure. Maybe Inferno versus Spark, that might be pretty good. And then for the West, maybe Justice and Owls, or even Spitfire Mayhem, maybe even. I'm not too sure. But those are some of the key matches for next week's match. Next week's week. And let's have a look now at this week's week 2 matches. Now, first off, with the Hangzhou Spark versus the Dallas Fuel. It was a 3-1 victory for the Hangzhou Spark against the Fuel. Fuel, man, they've been struggling a lot. At least this looks like a bit of a better showing than last time. What they showed in against the Charge. So at least that's good enough. But still not really good from the Spark, and it was Shy again MVP. Obviously, Arctic Peninsula went to the Spark. Kings Row went to Dallas Fuel, and then Rialto and Coliseum all of them went to the Spark. A very clean 3-0 victory for the Seoul Inferno against the Shanghai Dragons, and it was Skewered getting the MVP for that. So very clean victory from the Inferno. A very, very close game for the Toronto Defiant versus the NYXL. Obviously, the Toronto Defiant actually won this map. Very close. Ultraviolet again MVP. If you're a Toronto fan, yes, you might be happy that this is a win, but in my opinion, you might be a bit worried since a majority of them are actually part of the USA World Cup. So if that is any indication of how well the US World Cup team is going to go, it's going to be a bit of a rough battle, but I am a bit optimistic about them. I think they might be really, really good. It's just that I don't think they've really unlocked their full potential yet. Because I feel like they were pretty decent at Pro-Am. Just here, they're not that great in my opinion. Justice is the Valiant. I mean, a very easy victory for the Justice against the Valiant. Flora again MVP. Obviously, Justice winning against Ilios. Well, in Ilios, Blizzard World, and Havana. And the Atlanta Rain clean sweep in the Vancouver Titans at 3-0 once again on Nepal, Kings Row, and Shambhala Monastery. Stark again MVP. We had 2 East matches. This one, the Guangzhou Charge obliterating the Seoul Dynasty. I am very surprised of how well the Guangzhou Charge have been going. They are definitely the most surprising team in the opening weeks, actually. I'm surprised of how well they're going. I'm guessing no one thought that the Guangzhou Charge were going to be title contenders with a very small roster, but And plus, they only have Fireway 1987, who is part of the Chinese Overwatch World Cup team this year. So I was a bit skeptical about it, and I thought the Spark was going to do really, really well, but obviously we haven't gotten that yet. I think we're going to be getting that very soon, hopefully. But I'm very surprised of how well the Charge is going. Yeah, very happy about it, and that was Piggy who also got an MVP for that. Dallas, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing, Dallas? Sorry, hang on, there we go. The Dallas Fuel got clean swept by the Seoul Inferno, Oasis, Blizzard World, and Shambhala Monastery was at least pretty close, but it was the Inferno winning this one. Skew again MVP. I'm a loss for words because the Fuel they've been so hyped up, and obviously we knew that they were going to struggle this year, obviously with Chayo, Fielder, Fearless, they're all gone. But they still have like the coaches of Rush, Aid, Rascal from last year, basically the winning coach combination. and they're still struggling against Seoul Inferno, Guangzhou Charge, and even the Hangzhou Spark, which everyone thought the Spark was probably going to be title contenders until the Charge came in and basically wiped everyone off the floor. But still, it's sad. It's very, very sad to see that the Dallas Fuel have fallen down from grace from being one of the best teams in the world at one point to then maybe one of the worst in the East region, which is really, really sad to see. But this was actually on land. This was at the WDG Esports Studio at Seoul. So I'm guessing that some of Inferno's matches might be played there because I don't see the Dynasty playing there. So I think Seoul Inferno, I think they might be playing on at the Esports Studio, which actually is pretty cool. So I do hope we get to see more lanes in the coming weeks. But when I move over back to the West region, and the NYXL finally get the first win, this time against the LA Valiant. It was actually a pretty competitive game. Rialto wasn't that competitive. Hollywood wasn't that competitive. Oasis was pretty good, and Colossia was not that bad. But it was NYXL win that one, and Seiko gained MVP for that. The Boston Uprising 3-0 against the Washington Justice, and it was Decay winning, gaining MVP for this. So Uprising have been looking good. The Justice have been also looking pretty good as well. So I wouldn't really say that this is a bad thing to see for a Justice fan, obviously, other than losing. But the Uprising, they're actually a pretty difficult team. I mean, they have a lot of fan favorites, a lot of top contenders as well. So, but you know, the Justice, they do have a bit of a weak roster than the Uprising, so I'm not really surprised there. But still, a really good, either way, a pretty good performance as well from the Justice this week. The LA Gladiators are winning a very close game against the Florida Mayhem, almost a reverse sweep as well. Lijiang Tower, New Queen Street, and Ilios all going to the Gladiators, while in between Kings Row and Rialto to the Mayhem. Yaki gained MVP. Very close game, so that's all I really have to say about that. Maybe one of the most surprising wins, actually, there's another one coming up. I just remembered. The Shanghai Dragons somehow winning against the Seoul Dynasty, which if I did my power rankings for the Overwatch League, I'll probably maybe put the Seoul Dynasty at I'll say maybe second or even third place. I would have put the Dragons. I'd be lost. I'll be honest, in last place. Because it's just a bit of an unnoticed of how well Fleta's gonna go, but I mean they actually played not too bad here. Viber gained MVP. He's I'm pretty sure popped off as well on New Queen Street. So or was it Junkertown? I can't remember. It was one of them. But the Dragons, they've been looking pretty good here against the Dynasty. I do hope that they get to carry that into the Dallas Fuel next week. The Guangzhou Charge continues to clean up as they also beat the Hangzhou Spark. So, if this isn't telling enough that the Guangzhou Charge are title contenders and a force to be reckoned with, then I don't know what will. Jimmy gained MVP. I'm just surprised at how well the Charge is going, I'll be honest. I really thought the Spark was going to go amazingly because they basically have the former Chengdu Hunters team, along with like Shai and Gushui. But they've been looking so good throughout the season, and I do hope that the Charge can put up a fight against the likes of the Atlanta Reign, the Boston Uprising, Houston Outlaws even. So, but I hope they do really well because they've been looking extremely good on the East. And for the final 3 matches on the West, we have the Florida Mayhem 3-0 against the Toronto Fire, American MVP. No really surprises there, in my opinion. This was a bit of a surprise for me. I don't know what the hell happened to the Boston Uprising in this match against the Vancouver Titans, but the Titans absolutely destroyed the Boston Uprising. Oasis, Blizzard World, and Rialto was not close. Oasis was pretty close though, but Blizzard World and Rialto, not close at all. It also makes sense as well that because it was also announced that Izayaki had a collapsed lung, so my whole surprise does go out to Izayaki. Hopefully he'll be, I do hope for a speedy recovery for him. But they won against the Justice, which is basically better than the Vancouver Titans. What is happening? But to be fair, the Titans, they've been looking pretty good, so I'm not really surprised about that, but I'm just a bit, just a bit shell-shocked, just a bit shocked that the Vancouver Titans, out of all teams, beat out the Boston Uprising, which was actually their first loss of the season. So, some cracks probably coming in. Maybe there's rumors about the Uprising being a bit of a bit of knobs, I guess I'll say, to other teams regarding scrims and raging and basically cancelling scrims as a whole. That might be coming true, but I'm not too sure. And Punk, obviously, another Overwatch World Cup contender for Australia, he got MVP for that. And the Atlanta Reign continues to sweep every single match in the West region as they 3-0 the LA Gladiators, lip game MVP. And to be fair, it was actually really close in all 3 maps, but the Atlanta Reign, they're just up another echelon compared to everyone else. So that is the week 2 matches. Obviously, some teams to kind of watch out for next week. Will the Atlanta Reign continue the 3-0 sweep this time against the Houston Outlaws? Will the Charge continue to do impress everyone, basically? Are they going to do really well? Are the Vegas Eternal going to continue being the worst Overwatch League team we've ever seen? And are the Shanghai Dragons actually going to improve from this week after their win against the Seoul Dynasty? Not too sure, but that is all for week 2. And let's have a look as well at the standings. So this is obviously, actually we'll first have a look at what week 1 looked like. Obviously, and Reign and Outlaws that were tied in the West region. In the over and the East was the Charge and Spark. Both of them were tied. For the East, the Seoul Inferno moves up 2 places after their 2 wins this week, I should say, against Seoul Inferno. Against the Dallas Fuel and the Shanghai Dragons. The 100 Spark, obviously, they moved down from first place after their loss against the Charge. It was literally the Charge. They continue their run in first place. So Inferno and Shanghai Dragons, both of them are currently tied for 4th place. Both of them with a 1-2 record. And down in 6th place, very depressingly, it is the Dallas Fuel. For the West region, the Atlanta Reign, they continue their amazing sweep right now. 4-0, have not dropped a single map at all this season. I should say this, throughout the season as of right now. So they're going really, really well. The Florida Mayhem, they move up 1 spot. Houston Outlaws move down 4 spots, but that's just because they did not play this week. Uprise and Justice, they stay in 3rd place. Vancouver Titans, they're now up to 6th place. LA Gladiators in 7th, San Francisco Shock in 8th. NYXL moved up 2 places after their win against the Valiant. Toronto Defiant in 9th place as well, tied with the NYXL. And then in 11th place, the London Spitfire and the Vegas Eternal. Both of them did not play this week. And then we got the LA Valiant as well down in last place, 0-4, with a -11 map differential. And I also forgot to mention as well, the week 1, that the Vegas Eternal are that bad that they're playing Lifeweaver. Teams are playing Lifeweaver against the Vegas Eternal and are getting away with it. Lifeweaver, he's basically the worst ever character to be released by Blizzard, and yet teams are getting away with it. I think one that I could definitely mention is the Justice versus the Eternal. That is something I can definitely remember in my head. Pretty sure FD God was playing Lifeweaver. I can't wait for other teams to play Lifeweaver. I'm really, which is why I'm stoked to see how well the Vegas Eternal are going to go against the NYXL, which are basically both of them are in a very, very similar tier, we'll say. But that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys on next time in the next one. Goodbye.